Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroLada.com, and I'm your astrologer for the September 2025 horoscopes. September is eclipse season. That's when things really shake and move. That's when we tend to get, if there is any natural disasters, they're most intense around that time, and those are happening on the axis of water, earth. So we have to watch out for that. The lunar eclipse on the 7th of September, the Virgo eclipse on the 21st of September, solar eclipse. So, whoo, and this is also a sign that in the next 6 to 12 months, because eclipses affect us globally for a long time, there will be big shifts in our medical system. Pisces, Virgo, they're connected to health, to medical things, matters about health and such stuff will be very important. Medical healing system, hospital system might be changing. Virgo is the workforce, and there will be other eclipses in Virgo. So something will shift for the next, already from September, but the job market in a big way. Watch this out. Of course, with AI and everything, oof, exactly those 2 years of eclipses in Virgo and Pisces. Pisces is unemployed, Virgo is working people. There will be like a huge change. Who is unemployed, who is working, maybe more unemployed people because of AI. We'll see this because the eclipse in Virgo is with the South Node, which is like weakening. In Pisces, with the North Node. So they might be like that more people will feel like, what are we going to do, Pisces? And where are we supposed to, are we unemployed now? What is our use? Well, Virgo is like, I feel useful and so on. So the eclipses are happening there on those two Pisces Virgo line. So medical, health, and working, non-working. So this is some of the themes, plus earth and water. You see, the other eclipse in Pisces or near Virgo was with Saturn, Neptune. We had the big water floods that happened in America right after this eclipse. Now let's pray. It's also hurricane season, so who knows? But on a personal level, the first eclipse, the lunar eclipse, is quite positive. It's trine Jupiter, its ruler. It's with the North Node, which tends to give us things for previous efforts, rewards us for something that we've wanted or you've worked on. While the next eclipse on the 21st of September is solar eclipse. It's about new beginnings, but it's with the South Node. You sacrifice something and the new is given to you, or you start the new, you open yourself to the new, and the old just leaves your life organically without effort. And Saturn is coming back to Pisces to finish old work. And actually, Saturn in Pisces cleans the slate, wipes the slate clean from past karmas. Think of problems that you had for the last 27, 8 years, or 14 or 7. These are Saturn cycles, or 21 years, or 14 or 7 or 28. That has been repeated. Saturn is coming back for the last 5 months here together with an eclipse there, a lunar eclipse, which lasts for 3 months to wipe it clean. So you start anew after that. So some repeating problems been bragging you, you're going to solve it in the next 5 months. But before I start with the 12 signs individually, I have a new course. I'm so excited. It's an ancient technique, 3,000 years old, ancient Hellenistic, the 3 periods of life. Everyone has 3 periods in life. Not everyone lives through all three. But there is a specific way and very easy. You don't need to know astrology. I lead you through that, how to calculate. For some people, the first period of life might be 17 to, for others, 38 years. And to analyze and to see, someone might be born in poverty and they shift into their second ruler, second life period, and they become so successful. Or someone might get into success and fortune and improved life and health only in the third period. So in their 70s, 60s, or some people move into the third period at 50. So for everyone is different. And I'll show you how exactly to calculate it, how to compare the periods, which is stronger, which is weaker. So you have a sense, like my first 38 years, I was in a very weak planet. And now I moved after that. So life has been wonderful into a much stronger planet. So or someone might be like very successful, famous, or, in the young adult years, popular and very promising. And then suddenly they disappear. They enter into their second period, which might be very weak in their horoscope, and they're like Mr. Nobody. So fantastic, only $20 for early bird purchases. Again, I want it to be very accessible to you. Um, and now let's go to the eclipses September for each of the 12 signs. Thank you. Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, September 2025, using tropical Western astrology. Pisces, this month is very pivotal for you because the eclipses are happening on the axis of Pisces and Virgo. Exactly, on your axis. You and the one is opposite you, the other one is in your sign. So some lives will be transformed for people who have strong Pisces, the Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. I can give some specific degrees to watch out for, but all Pisces, they have to pay attention because on the 7th of July, sorry, so tired. I mean, by the time I reach Pisces, I'm really not thinking rationally. I'm channeling. I'm on sleep mode, but maybe more profound insights come then. So on the 7th of September, there is an eclipse, lunar eclipse in your sign Pisces, and that's at 14 degrees. So right in the middle of Pisces. So if your sun, moon, or ascendant is around 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, even 17 degrees of Pisces, you feel this lunar eclipse very possibly life-changing in some way in your sign. It's like old identity is going, new one is appearing, new role in your life, or something is shifting in how you perceive yourself. But for all Pisces, it's in your first house, some deep realizations, very emotional, like emotional realignment that is happening to align you to your true north node, because it's with the north node, to your true path and some realizations about you, how you want your life to be, if it's your sun in Pisces, possibly for your career, possibly for important relationships with male figures or father figures, something very kind of fate that can happen. Or with, they say when there is an eclipse on your sun, your whole life can change within the next 3 months because the lunar eclipse is active for 3 months. But it's kind of opening of a portal when an eclipse happens. Lunar eclipse, they open portals to the astral, where external influences can enter and impact you for better or worse, and realign your fortune ahead. As I said, realign the fate of a person, the direction. And if you're especially those degrees where the lunar eclipse is happening, you have to be a bit more cautious about health because there will be big changes in your life if you're those degrees in the next 3 months, 4 months, and the subconscious feels it, and sometimes this it like feels like a big change is coming, even if it's for good, because eclipse with the south node tends to be for good, like some reward or some and it's trine Jupiter, its ruler, so something good. But even good changes can feel stressful on the body, so sometimes our health is weaker when there is eclipses on sun, on the moon, on the ascendant. Not always, but just cautioning you around the 7, the weeks before, the weeks after, not to do too many extreme things. Plus, you're more emotional on a lunar eclipse right in your sign. If you think like, whoa, what's happening? You're feeling something, you might not even know what it is. So there might be some specific event happening in your life and you feel a bit overwhelmed, even if it's for good, as I said. So that's just kind of wait for it to settle down, but something important. And the full moon eclipse is definitely about getting results for something. Maybe you started something a few months or a year or two ago, and now you can see the results of it. And now you can either complete it, and because Saturn is also there, if you've done the hard work in the last 2, 3 years, well, Saturn was in your sign and it's coming back to your sign again uh, on the 1st of September. It means that it can reward you for the efforts, for the repeated efforts, with a breakthrough. Eclipses are a breakthrough many times, especially lunar eclipses, breakthrough through old problems. And Saturn is again coming for 5 months into your sign from the 1st of September till February. So 5 months, and the eclipse is active 3 months. So you see the next 3 to 5 months to really change the direction of your life because it's in your sign. If it's your moon in Pisces, it's about your personal life, it's about your mental well-being, it's about your personal relationships, that there is a big shift happening, how you're doing them, and so on. It's possibly some kind of more responsible role is coming to your life, more mature, the next stage of your life, that you take on more responsibility and that you take on more or more respectful and senior role of some sort. For some of you, it can be, because it's Saturn in your sign. If you work hard, if you deserve it, it can mean the next chapter of your life deserve break with the rewards of your previous achievements, like a retirement or whatever, or if you work hard but you still have time ahead and you still want, you're ambitious, it can be the rewards of your efforts by giving you even more authority, more respect. And if you've been in the wrong direction in life, Saturn and eclipse in your first house, it can kind of like topple the tower. So you can, see which roles you've played and which goals you've chased are unrealistic and which are not for you, to realign you to the right path, basically. Because Pisces is the last sign, but for you it's your first house. And I would ask you to look back. Has there been a consistent problem in your life? If it's your ascendant, even with your health, with overall fate in life, if it's your sun in Pisces, with your career, with your self-confidence, with your moon in your personal life, more likely, but in the last 7 or 14 or 21 or even 28 years, a full cycle of Saturn, some problems that was repeated. For someone, it might be a repeated addiction. For another, might be a repeated problems with self-expression or health problem. Think back, everyone has one issue they struggle for many years, not just the last few months. Something that you can't get rid of or you can't overcome, which is that area of your life. Because now Saturn and this eclipse, lunar eclipse of completions, and Saturn completing a Saturn cycle of 28 years, even if you're not 20 years old, or you're younger, Saturn has also cycles of 7, 14, 21 years. But something that has been a repeated problem for you in the next 4 to 5 months will get resolved, will get wiped clean of, like, it's like this burden. God says it's no longer yours. You don't have to carry it. Maybe you've tried many times before, nothing happened, didn't work. Maybe very small progress, or just only with a lot of effort, and always had to white knuckle it, always had to, and you think you're stuck always in the same pattern. And I'm here to give you the good news that Saturn, even though it's coming back to Pisces for the last time, and this eclipse making a big breakthrough for you, this eclipse making a big release of the old, a big emotional realignment. So within the next 3 to 4, 5 months, you'd be rid of that repeating issue. Even if it comes from the depths of your psychology and you're one with it, there will be a release, and you start on a clean slate in your life, like a new direction, new chapter, new way of being. So these old self-identifications and roles can be worked on and released. Also, Saturn coming back into your first house and with an eclipse in the first house in your sign can indicate if you have something to finish. Maybe you started something, you haven't thought about it, coming back, oh, this opportunity that I didn't know or that I had forgotten about, let me complete it. Or some initiative you started and now you're completing it for the next 2, 3 months. That's how it can mean. As I said, the rewards of previous actions. But on the 21st, we're going to have another eclipse. And now this time it's right opposite you in the 7th house in Virgo at the 29th degree, the very last degree of Pisces will feel it strongly. So those who are 26, 27, 28, 29 degrees of Pisces, this eclipse can be life-changing for you. I mean it, like say if you're born 16, 17, 18, 19th of Pisces, of March, these are the last degrees the last 3/4 degrees of Pisces, basically, or your sun or moon is in the last 3-4 degrees. This eclipse, your life can change through another person. And now I'm speaking also about all Pisces because it is happening in your seventh house. So even if you're different degrees, you can still feel it. And this is the second eclipse, sorry, the second new moon in Virgo within a month. This is what we call once in a blue moon. Two new moons to fall in the same sign, or two full moons. You have your once in a blue moon period now. So one new moon opens new beginnings for a month, renewal, and we have it every month. So maybe nothing happens. Some very little renewal, new beginning. One new moon happens on the 23rd in your seventh house of relationships and others and distant places. And then another one, but this one is an eclipse on the 21st of September. It's like God says, I'm giving you 2 times opportunity for something new to enter your life through another or in your relationship. So by opening yourself to hear what others have to tell you, or by releasing an old relationship or attachment or a contract, which you've been holding on, and opening yourself for a new one. Because this new moon eclipse is with the south node. First, either release something and you open yourself to something good that comes to you from another person and realigns you to your path, or you open yourself to something good that comes to you from another. Whether it's a business partnership, collaboration, or whether it's some new beginning starting in the life of your partner, which will allow you to let go of some other way that you're dependent on them, or some other relationship or some other aspect or contract or agreement. So the change, the new might come first and the old goes after, or the other way around. So you're being told on the next almost 6 months, a big shift can happen in your relationships in the seventh house. It's not just September. And if you come to me in the middle of September or 21st of September and said, here, there's no new man in my life, there is no new relationships, nothing new is happening in the life of my husband, you suck. I said 6 months, guys. Oh, patience. This shows you longer cycles. And it is also about opening up to, while you're doing this restructuring of who you are, me versus others, there can be a bit of push and pull. Your partner might want to do something else, to start a new chapter in their life, to start a new project, while you're completing old ones with Saturn in your first house, or still working on restructuring yourself, on building foundations or working on your own goals. So there can be this push and pull, but you can balance it. Oppositions doesn't always mean confrontation, they can mean balancing. And maybe you might have to consider the needs of those around you, seventh house, and because there's something new happening in their life or some new direction they're taking, while keeping your integrity and keeping focus on your needs as well, the first house, and your interest, and not neglecting yourself. So both need the attention. But indeed, sometimes a person can meet a soulmate or a very important life relationship around an eclipse in the seventh house, especially in the seventh house if it's your moon in Pisces or your ascendant in Pisces. The sun as well, not the ancients said on the axis, when there is eclipse on the axis of the first and the seventh. But I remember I got married on an eclipse on my sun, opposite my sun as well. Not on the eclipse, but the year of the eclipse. I'll never marry on an eclipse. And so the later Pisces, they need to be like those 3-4 degrees. They need to be more cautious with their health in September and October, because as I said, new moon eclipse opposite them, and the middle Pisces that we mentioned, they have to be more cautious with their health. But they can also be the recipients of the biggest changes and transformations and big, opportunities for new beginnings as well. Also, if a new partnership appears, like business or client or contract, I would say consider it. 2 new moons, one of which solar eclipse, it's pulling your attention, or something coming to you through others. But if it's your sun or moon in Virgo, not the ascendant, the seventh from the sun and the moon is not always about relationships. It just means that an eclipse is activating you. So a big shift in career for the later degrees Virgos, if it's their sun there, or for the moon in their personal life, emotional, even home, place of living, parenthood, becoming a parent or something, I don't know, new beginning there, or property, because that's the moon, or new emotional attachment and releasing old one. So this is how those two eclipses are going to play out. You're the most affected sign together with Virgo, for better or worse. I say for better, okay? Yes, because Saturn is opposition this new moon on the 21st. Saturn in your sign on the 29th degree. So those really late degree Pisces, they get like the most intense changes. But the best things happen during the things that you say, I'm so grateful this happened because it turned my life around. I had a breakthrough. I was in this tough spot, or there was a crisis or something, that after that, the life is not the same in a good way, and you're grateful. And so, yeah, Saturn is opposition with the eclipse in your seventh house. So initially, there might be some resistance or some worry or some crisis that these changes are happening through. They take longer time to see the results of, because new moons, you see, sow the seeds of something. New moon eclipses, you don't reap. You reap with the lunar eclipse, which is happening in your sign in the middle of the Pisces on the 7th. Uh, and I'm not saying that exactly on the 7th this event will happen for you, but you can reap for previous things, or some old matters can be activated to be resolved, to be dealt with, to be released, or to be rewarded for with the lunar eclipse. And I think this one will be more rewarding because it's with the North Node, it's with Jupiter trine. While new things will come, just the seeds to be planted, and they would blossom maybe for the next few months, maybe for the next 2-3 years, through others, through relationships, through opening yourself to a different perspective, for example. So this is it, Pisces. If you want to know how your life is mapped out, it's just 2-hour course that I've done, recorded the 3 stages, the 3 periods of your life. There is 3 planets for every person. They're different, that correspond to their life according to ancient astrology. It's a 2,000-3,000 year way how the ancient astrologers used to look at the charts of the monarchs and so on. And they would say, okay, your life will be in 3 stages. The first one, you'll be very successful. The second one, which for some people it shifts at 17, for others it can shift at 38. I'll show you how to calculate it and how successful each of those parts will be. This is fascinating tool to have. I tested it quite a lot and it's very correct. So thank you, Pisces. Tell us how you're doing, how your life is changing over these 2 eclipses.